welcome back to my channel. We're back in the bedroom. Jim has made some good progress this morning. I'm going to turn you around and share with you. Forgive my hair. So he has begun ripping up the carpet in our bedroom here. We picked up the floor tiles, which I can show you in a little bit. And we're going to start sections at a time. Jim is basically doing this the same way he did the closet. Okay, where he's actually cutting strips off, rolling the carpet, rolling the pad, and pulling up the stapled tack strips. I was really not feeling well this morning. I think I just overdid it this weekend and really just needed to rest. But I'm feeling much better now. Well, I wanted to show them the variations too, so that's why. This is the floor. This is sort of like, it says reclaim wood or scrap wood or barn wood. I don't remember, but it's basically supposed to look like it's got like the more driftwood. No, driftwood is the color, right? This, see how this?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh. But I love them. They're vinyl. They could be grouted if you wanted to, but I don't think I want to. We're probably going to end up eventually getting some quarter round because the thickness of the carpet is way thicker than the thickness of the floor tile. But we're going to definitely have to do some more prep work here. But what I'm going to do is we're going to show you, I'm going to tell you guys the professional way to do it or the exact way to do it, but then I'm going to show you what I've learned over years of laying vinyl floor tile. So I'm going to show you the right way and then I'm going to show you my way. So stick around. Actually, I realized that I can't show you both ways because this isn't peel and stick square tiles. These are vinyl planks, which don't go up traditionally like vinyl flooring does. So we'll talk about it in a little bit, but this is where Jim allowed me to help him. And I don't mean allowed me, but he was saying, yes, you can come in and help. One of the things that I wanted to show him that would just make his life a whole lot easier was if you start cutting the section and you can cut up enough that you could stand up and just pull it, the carpet rips so much easier. He does not have to sit on the floor and scooch his booty for hours and hours at a time with his back bent over, like hunched over, because sometimes that can really start to bother him after a while. So that's what we're going to work on. We're basically going to get that one piece going. Like I said, he's showing me how he has been doing it right now. So he's kind of like cutting down and then cutting across and taking these small sections out. But then I show him like, look, honey, if you can just rip a little bit more and then you stand up and you can pull. Carpets are usually on sort of a grid. If you've ever done latch hook or even bought carpet like rug from the Dollar Tree, you turn it over and you can see like a little grid pattern. It rips very, very easily, especially when somebody's there to help you weigh down the other half. Because when somebody's holding down the carpet or something's holding down the carpet that you're ripping from, then it makes it a lot easier to basically rip away from it. Okay. So as you can see here, he's got enough slack where he can just pull up, and he's like, well, I can't go any more from there. And I was like, well, you can. You just have to go behind it and pull straight up in the sky. He was trying to pull it more towards the wall, but I was like, as long as you have something weighing down, you should be able to get it up. And then it was just easy breezy from there. And he was like, yay. It was kind of a joke, like, where were you yesterday when I was doing all this? I could have saved him a lot of work. But he likes to do things himself. Plus we wanted to show you different ways to do it in case you have different limitations, right? Right. So I am the sitting down partner. I'm the carpet tire offer, tile handler type of partner that I'm going to be during this project. Again, just like when we go to lay the tiles, and I'll tell you about that when we do, just like this, Jim was like, well, let me do it the way I think I need to do it, and then you can show me, how I need to do it or whatever. So same thing. Let me do it my way first, and then you can help me later, so I can figure it out myself. All right. So now I mentioned that the tack strip is at the end, and that's I almost called it a mattress pad again. The carpet padding is stapled down. So what Jim's using is a combination of the 5-in-1 tool, which has like sort of a screwdriver on one end, but you could use a screwdriver, like a flathead screwdriver if you want to pry up the staples. Just be careful. And he's also using a needle nose pliers. When he can actually grip the staple straight on, you just pull them straight up. It is one of these time-consuming sort of processes. that you go, is my time worth more than my money and my money worth more than my time? For us, we have the time and not the money. So that's what we're doing. We're doing it ourselves. Besides, it wouldn't be a DIY if you hired somebody else to do it, right? Just checking. Okay. And now, before you start laying any tiles, it's really super important, especially with vinyl, that you get it really clean. If you've ever stuck contact paper onto something or like a screen protector, and you know if there is like a speckle of dust under there, it creates a bump. That is the same thing with dirt and vinyl tiles. And you don't want to take any chances at all. So definitely get under the baseboards if yours is above like ours as well. Without making a huge mess, try to keep as clean as possible. Put the Sharpie straight up and down against the baseboard. All the way from the door to the corner of the room. Just trace that whole thing. Okay? Okay. Now, did you go this way too? No.
Yeah, I went both ways.
Okay. All right. Now bring it over here. I'm going to show you what to do. Now you're going to take your regular scissor, your kitchen shear, or whatever. I think your kitchen shear's there. You can also use your X-Acto knife or whatever, and you're going to cut that out. Okay?
I'm going to do the best that I can.
Or I'm going to show you two ways. So this is a good way to scribe. Okay? So you take a scribe, which is like a compass, and you put the pen in one and you go along the shape of the molding to the other side. But we're not going to do that because we have our molding not sitting on the floor. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our narrowest end and our like widest end, and we're going to go ahead and cut a line straight across. Okay, so if we were scribing, that would be the shape we would have to go. If the molding was down to the floor, we would have to cut this exact shape so it would fit around the molding. But we're not, because we have the molding is lifted up. So we're going to go in from our deepest point, and then we're going to go across from our deepest point. This is how far the wall is into the molding.
Okay.
Would you rather use a straight edge and X-Acto knife? You can.
No.
Okay.
Because I don't have another surface to cut off of.
Well, that's fine. That's good. Try coming across and seeing what you meet. Don't dig too deep in either
Yeah,
direction.
that's what I was trying to do.
Do you need lights?
No, I think I got enough.
Okay. Try to cut as straight as you can with what I gave you.
No, I'm trying to.
Okay, I know.
Just my angles.
All right, so here's a trick. Stop and cut in.
Yeah.
And cut that piece off and then keep going. And just do the same in sections and it's okay. There you go, like that. There you go. Perfect. That helps. That's definitely a trick of the trade. By the way, they do make vinyl tile scissors made for just what you're doing. But we don't have them. We weren't going to invest in that because we were going to cut it normally with a straight edge and a square. Now dry fit it before you peel the stick in. Make sure that you were good and it goes under. And now you see what I'm talking about? And it goes out in the hallway and it matches up that other floor tile, right?
Yeah.
There you go. So that's what I'm saying. All right, so now go ahead.
It's still got like a pinch of a gap because of...
Between our floor and their floor?
Yeah.
We need that for expansion. But we have the threshold goes there, so we're okay. All right?
All right.
So now
peel it.
Make sure that there's no debris on the floor. You have to make sure the floor is as clean as possibly can humanly be. I don't know if you want to take the vacuum to it or get a Swiffer or...
No,
I'm telling the people. If you need to take a vacuum to it or a Swiffer, just make sure it's as clean as it can possibly be. I recommend peeling the paper straight back onto itself. The cheaper boards usually have a lot of stickage, and that's the problem we were running into here, is that some of the glue was over, some of the floor tiles were kind of stuck to the paper from the tile above. So pay attention to that when you're working.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. And normally they sell a J roller, but we're just calling it a J roller because Jimmy's going to roll on it. So Okay, and now the rest is kind of like super simple. You only have to do your cuts on your end.
Okay, when I get to this point, my hardest struggle is going to be trying to keep it straight because I'm going to want to push this way.
Okay, so what do you think you can do that will help?
I don't know.
Okay, take an extra board like you did with this. You can line it up. You can technically put a board down next and then come in from this way.
So like technically put a board here.
Yeah. And then attack it from the side.
And then try to slide it in. And,
yep.
Okay.
100%.
All right.
But make sure that that board is, you're using that board to actually...
Right, this board is butted up against this board and the wall here, and I'm pushing here so this doesn't push in.
Yep.
And then when I go
to
lay
what you could do, if the floor is clean, you can peel and stick that first one and don't push it down. Okay?
Okay.
Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah.
See, the reason I don't like the way you're doing it, just from experience, is your shirt has fibers, your shirt has hairs on it, and like static cling when you pull off that paper is going to want to attract every little thing off your shirt. So that's the only complaint I had with the way you were doing it on your lap, as opposed to the way I showed. Don't press down, just slide it in.
I just slid it in, and I'm trying to make sure it's lined up with this.
Well, yeah.
And then I'm gonna do that whole.
How does that look for your pattern? You don't have that board anywhere near that? Okay, good. It looks good. I don't see another one like it anywhere. So once you start to get this rhythm, laying down the majority of the floor is going to be a breeze.
Now, as you can see, when I mentioned to him about trying to match your pattern, there is about, I want to say 5 to 7 different patterns in this box. And I'm just trying to get him to not put two obvious looking patterns next to each other. When you do that, then you recognize that it's more artificial looking, if that makes any sense. Like real wood won't have a repeating pattern in it. This M-shaped wavy line next to the circle, next to the black splash, it won't be like that with real wood. So try to mix them up. Try to keep them as separate as possible. All right. Now, if you have a floating area across a doorway like this, that's what we're doing. We're just using the row next to it to keep it in line, keep it even. One of the great parts about basically staggering the ends is that you do have that ability to use the previous row to line your first row up with, and vice versa. We call the first row the soldier row, right? You guys know that. So anyway, what I really liked about this tile is it cut super easy. What I didn't like about my room is it wasn't perfectly 6 feet or 3 feet, 3 feet type of a dimension. I think my room is 12 feet and 6 inches long. I think that's what it ended up being. I can't remember, but so I ended up having to cut. We had to cut every single end. If you do have like an even number with 3s, then you just want to make sure that you cut them so that they're staggered. So every third row or fourth row, you probably won't have to cut it all, but keep that in mind. What I don't want to have happen, and I'm trying to avoid, is a lot of little cut pieces by the doorway. I'm not sure if I mentioned it yet, but one of the things you want to try to avoid is a lot of little pieces in a high traffic area, because a vinyl peel and stick floor is just that. It's just a peel and stick floor. If you have a lot of little pieces that aren't tacked down with nails and such, that can kind of come up as people start to walk, again, because it's high traffic area. So we want to make sure that we keep bigger pieces. In front of my doorway, we didn't use any piece that was less than 8 inches. We just made sure that we made the pattern look like that there. So it worked out really, really well for us. We're having some disagreement about when to do the closet. So Jim really wanted to do the closet last. However, the closet was, a couple of reasons, was preventing us from putting the closet doors back on. If we would have waited, we would have had to work around the closet doors. But mostly, and we'll talk about this more tomorrow, I believe, maybe the next day, I can't remember, but we'll talk a little bit about not leaving the edge of vinyl tile free for very long, because just regular walking through a room can kick dust onto the sides of vinyl tiles and will prevent them from sticking neatly next to each other. So I thought definitely in the closet was probably a good place to not just leave raw vinyl edges there. Okay?
The video that I watched years ago said to line the third board with that board, which goes to that line right there.
That's only if you're doing them even. I don't want them even.
Well, no, because you're... And then you find out how long this board is.
Okay.
And you cut for that board, and then you worry about the third row.
Okay. Can you just do what I'm asking you to do instead?
Sure.
Okay. So put that board on top of the empty space and push it all the way forward till it touches the other floor almost. Or goes as far as the one, okay.
Yeah, it touches the floor
Yep.
almost.
Now take the floorboard that you currently have that's extra. Line it up with the floorboard that's underneath it. On top, like a sandwich. Nope, nope, nope. Just put it on top of what you just have. Now line it up with the board that's under the board you just put down. Back it up so you, back up, back your body up. See the seam there on the end?
No, I can't.
No, the seam is, look at me. The seam is there. The seam between that seam.
This one way back here?
Yep, line that board up with that seam.
Okay.
Now you draw a line on that end. But you gotta make sure you're careful of the blue paper. Pull the blue paper back so you have like a more accurate measurement. There you go.
Okay.
Now take that piece.
Which piece?
The
one
piece that you just drew
marked
on.
on?
Yep.
Okay.
Can I have it? Okay, so I want to show everybody. Hold on.
If for some reason this was multi-directional tile, you would have to turn it over. We could have turned it over, but I was just trying to show Jimmy how to do it. Sorry about misspeaking there. Single directional is what I meant. So sometimes when you get a vinyl tile with a pattern, say it's a checkerboard and you always have to make sure that the black is in the upper right hand corner. If you flip over the paper on the back, there's usually an arrow that tells you which direction the tile is supposed to be laid in. If that is the case, then you have to work your tile upside down and backwards so that you have your, well, actually technically just upside down. So you have your cut edge where you need your cut edge to be. But you do it the same way as I showed you. You basically lay the tile that you have to cut on top of where it's supposed to be, just upside down, and then you're going to use a second tile matched over the under row to figure out where you need to cut it. So this way you have what's left over, and your cut edge will always go under the molding or concealed is basically what it is. Okay? Now, boy, I know we were talking about this yesterday about how many vinyl tile floors that I've laid. It's really kind of comical. I'm not a professional. They're just in my own house. But it's quite a bit. And actually, I think I did it at one of my friends' grandma's house too. I don't think it was just my house. But anyway, so the rhythm really starts to pick up after a while. Jim was... again, growing in his confidence, in his skills, and his abilities. The more he did practice the cutting and the piecing, the better he got. As I imagine you guys will too. Now, one of the things I want to mention is we really hardly threw any scraps out. Basically, just when we got to the very edges in the closet, we ended up having to cut a 3.5-inch strip long ways, which I basically just did like we were crafting. You measure 3.5 inches from the factory edge, draw a straight line or cut a straight line on your marks, and Bob's your uncle. But you'll see that. Actually, I think you see it on the, no, I don't think I shared that. Oh, I don't think I recorded that. Forgive me. But we really didn't have a lot of scraps left, because what we do is when you're done on one end with, say you have a 6-inch piece, 8-inch piece, 14-inch piece left, you can just start a row with that piece. That's what's really great about this type of plank. It really is that easy. If it was a vinyl tile with a specific pattern, you may have to get more overage or, basically loss because of that very reason. Now, I want to tell you something. I used the calculator at Lowe's. I measured out my room and I said exactly how many feet. I did the calculator that they told me to do. It's 180 square feet. And they told me to get 133 tiles, and I have 2.5 tiles left over. So it was really, I don't want to say it was really close because I mentioned we didn't throw any out, but there was really not a lot of waste. And I think like I mentioned when I was telling you guys about buying the tiles that you're supposed to add like a 10% leeway because you can always return individual tiles as long as the policy of the store you got will allow you to purchase them individually and return them individually. So getting a little extra is probably not bad, but the way you have to sometimes cut ones with patterns, you can't really get full usage out of the whole tile, is what I'm saying. So say we were doing a pattern of a specific square kind of pattern. When we got to the edge and there was just, say, 6 inches left over, well, 6 inches is too even. Say there was 4 inches left over, I would have to cut 4 inches off this side, 4 inches off the other side, and then I would lose 4 inches from each tile. That isn't the case with the plank, which is great. But keep that in mind if you do get a tile with a pattern that is on repeat that you have to pay attention to, okay? I hope someday we'll be able to do one like that so I could share it with you. I was kind of thinking about like a possible countertop situation with vinyl tile just to show you guys. So I may do that. We were looking around on the website and I thought maybe I could redo my craft tabletop in vinyl tiles just to make it look a little bit cleaner and newer and plus clean, like I'd be able to wash it better than wood. So that's it. So Jim has, this is just the first time he's done this, and I'm not kidding. This is a half an hour into the project, and he has had 1 hour's experience in the project. I know I've mentioned before to you guys about like if you're working with your spouse, make sure that you can gracefully take instructions from each other and take advice and ideas from each other because that's kind of really important of how it works. Okay. Now, I did mention that this tile was on sale. I think it was $1.67 a tile normally. No, $1.67 a square foot normally. And I got it for $1 a square foot. So we were able to do this whole room for $180, which I thought was pretty good. Even if we had to buy quarter round isn't usually expensive. I can't promise you, depending on where you live, that it won't be. And because we can just need white, we can actually get the molded quarter round, which is usually less expensive than the solid wood. Okay, talked about that. Oh yeah, so sorry. The Lowe's was having a 4th of July, like sort of a pre-4th of July sale. That's why we were able to get such a good deal. So sometimes you want to consider that type of situation when you're planning your projects. It's a Veterans Day, it's President's Day, and you can kind of keep your eyes open for when building materials go on sale, as well as decorative materials and furniture and that kind of thing, whatever you're planning on doing to your space. Also, don't forget to use your Rakuten. I ended up getting 4% cash back on this project, and at $180 plus tax ish, you can imagine that I was able to get I feel like $6 back, which was perfect because then it makes another $6 off the project, which makes the tiles then just that much cheaper. Now, I did mention we have 2.5 tiles left over. I was originally thinking I'd have a few left over, so I was going to do some projects on them, but I might just go pick up a few more because I feel like I like to keep a few tiles in case, say we were moving furniture and we just gouged a piece out, we would have to replace a whole board. I will tell you that it's not super hard to replace these things. We had some vinyl tile that was down in our dining room for about 8 years, and some of it was really stuck on there. And all I did was I took my heat embossing gun. I know they sell all kinds of heat guns, but I just took my embossing like I had for rubber stamping. And I used that to melt the glue and soften the vinyl, and the tiles came right up. That being said, the tile that we laid before that was cheaper, and it actually ended up drying the glue, and tiles were just like flying off. But after like 7 years, I'm not trying to say that vinyl tile is not the way to go, but of course we didn't have high quality vinyl tiles. I actually had a floor that I had laid 2 floors ago that I actually bought at a 99-cent store in New York. There was a 99-cent store in Baldwin before the Dollar Tree moved in that used to have the best banana sandwich cookies, but I digress. And I bought floor tiles there. They were 4 for $1. And I thought that they were really cute. And they look like a very light colored parquet. And I was like, oh, we could use a new floor. So I went ahead and I measured out the dining room, and I figured that's what we'd put down. And we did. And it was nice for a while. It lasted. In some spots, it got dried and just they flaked off. And in some spots, I had to go in with a heat gun and peel them up when it was done. So just lots of things. There's just really some really good benefits to them. They are mostly waterproof. You have to actually look on the manufacturer, their plans, but most of them are waterproof. They wipe up really, really well. Most of them take spills really well. High quality ones will take easy to remove lots of different things. And I don't want to promise you like spill bleach on your floor and you'll be okay, or spill paint on your floor and be okay. But a lot of times you will be. The benefit of vinyl tile. Now they're also a little softer under your feet than, say, ceramic, but that's just another reason why you might want to pick vinyl, and the expense and the ease in installation. So that's it, everybody, for tonight. We're going to finish up tomorrow. I'll tell you more about what's happening next. If you guys have any questions, you know what to do. Just leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to share and like and subscribe and all the things that I always ask. And as always, you guys take care. God bless. And we'll see you next time. Bye.